Okay, welcome back. This is actually the second video from this series. Sadly, after the departure part, I had some problems with the sound, so I had to re-record it. Good part is that the quality of the visuals should be better now, because I figured out how to set it up in OBS. As you can see, we are already midway. The weather today, when I have re-recorded it, is worse. But as I said before, this is pretty much the standard weather that we can expect around here. I have left the magenta path just to go down along this river here, because it's just the perfect place to lose some height and to join the approach to Anchorage. Because of the weather, we'll probably do an ILS approach, which was not planned before. So you will be able to see how all of the autopilot modes work. Okay. I think it might be dark enough to also show you the rotor lights that I have mentioned before. Let me just make it a little bit more silent for you. So as you can see, no lights. Okay. And let's try to turn them on. Lights. Okay. But I think we can just disable them. In such situations, and especially here around Anchorage, the weather radar is really useful. Today, sadly, there is nothing. Yesterday, when I was flying, there was some green, so some rain. But in the past, I also had like serious storms around those mountains. And this was also something interesting with this helicopter that when it entered the storm, right? Something that isn't a problem for most planes in MSFS because they generally don't react to weather at all. So in some places of the snowstorm, the autopilot disconnected. I totally lost control. I had to take over manually. And the impact of the weather on helicopters is much higher than on planes, pretty much in MSFS. So it's kind of different than in X-Plane that I was flying before, where like serious weather was dangerous to all of the aircraft. My experience is that in MSFS it's like very seldom the case, right? So it's refreshing to have an aircraft where you really need to watch out for the weather, and also one with weather radar, so you can do something about it, right? Okay, here we will need to go down a little bit because the approach fix is at 2000 meters, right? So let's start going down. Once again, here you can see we have both modes armed. So we have both vertical speed and IAS. And in this case, the trim on the joystick no longer works for vertical speed. You would need to use the trim on the collective, or there is an assignment that I think in MSFS is called engine beep 1. And it's also described here in this very short manual. Here we have all of the assignments that can be useful for this aircraft. Okay, let me just make sure we have Alt pre-select armed, so it should hold at 4000. Okay, and as you can see, we are nicely going down. This is the cruise part of the video. There will be also like a separate descent part. We will just see if I will be able to handle it as well as yesterday when I was recording it, because then we got a really nice smooth landing. So let's see if this will be possible today. We still have some time until we reach the initial approach fix, right? So I can talk a little bit more about the autopilot, I think, about all of the modes. So just as a summary, heading mode, obviously you steer with the heading back, and when heading mode is on, the trim on your joystick will steer the back. You can also use this knob, right, and click on it to center it, but it's much more convenient to just use the trim. Vertical speed, obviously you set the vertical speed up or down. As I said, if vertical speed and IAS are both on, then the vertical speed control moves to this other assignment here. Okay. Alt, so altitude hold, like in a plane. nav, like in a plane, right? Capturing the path either from radio navigation or GPS. ILS, when you are already on the localizer, right? You can use it to go down, and we will see it today. Deceleration at the end of the ILS path, glide slope, I guess, it will decelerate down to 70 knots. VOR approach is pretty much the same as nav, but it's just optimized for catching VOR radials. IAS is speed hold, right? Speed assignment, we have done it before. The important part here is that it works differently than in some planes. It's not used for climbing, right? It itself won't climb your plane. It just sets the speed, right? Either for going straight or for climbing. Alt pre-select we have done. This is back course. This is like for advanced ILS flying. This is standby. So I guess this is the most important one. When it is on standby, you still have ATT, so the advanced stabilization, but there is just no mode on, right? No autopilot mode. So you can steer freely. And as they have fixed the ATT and it's more advanced now, you also will need to use the force trim or the trim to adjust the attitude. It's a little bit more complicated now, but according to the real pilot on the Discord, this is more realistic. And this is go around, it just climbs really fast. Okay. One important thing that we will see later is that if you want to use ILS, the collective also needs to have collective control here. So it's just recommended to have IAS on, which gives collective control to the autopilot when you want to use ILS. Otherwise, the helicopter will go crazy. It's easy to lose control then. Okay, so let me just see. All is nice here. Also, one additional detail that I haven't mentioned here. Let me just use the searchlight. I said that you can move it up or down, which is correct, but you can also use it to the sides, right? So if you want to simulate some like advanced special ops or something with hover mode on, then you can move the searchlight to all of the sides. But you need like 4 buttons for it, or like an axis or something. I'm just using up or down because it's enough for me. What is some other stuff that I could show you? Obviously, we have a radar altitude indicator here. In this case, this is set correctly. Like the approach chart shows us that it should be 200 for the approach that we are running, so this will be fine. Okay, still no bad weather. We are out of the red, right? As I said, with both this one and this one, you can pretty much handle any situation that you might encounter, which is also really unique for the helicopters that we have now in our sim. And for this, I think we can finish this part of the video. As I said, there will be like a third one when we reach the initial approach fix. So thank you and see you.